Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 200.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you are new here, please say hi down below.
Now here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics. And every Monday, we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
Congratulations, you guys are part of history, because this is the first time, not just in our marriage, but probably in my life, that we have ever been consistent in anything.
Like to the T.
Right.
200 weeks, not days.
Never missing one.
Not days, weeks in a row. And there have been some hard things to traverse through, but praise God from whom all blessings flow. We have been able to do this 200 weeks in a row. And
So it's over now.
It's no. We're plowing through. But what I think about how far that this precious program has gone, right? Where it was just me and you on a couch, really just almost like putting it out there and not sure, will anybody come on board? Will we ever meet like-minded people who had like a heart for change and a desire to really change their life?
Right.
And now I see when we have like 300 or 400 or 500 people in a live that we're all meeting up in one moment of time together, no matter where we are. And sometimes it's in other countries.
Right.
We're separated by, and yet we're together. It's just, I'm overwhelmed by the beauty of all that.
Yeah, we always say we are consistently inconsistent.
Not about this,
with the exception of Keto Beyond the Couch.
Can't say that.
Right. So if you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about subscribers. We love starting our week like this. We do this every week. Most of the time it's live. Once in a while we do have a pre-recorded. There's going to be a couple of pre-recorded ones coming up because we're going to have Chris and Miriam visiting. We're going to be on the road. But I'm hoping that we can narrow that down to maybe one. But we love to celebrate subscribers. It started off with us, as Rachel said, sitting on a couch just talking about what was going on in our lives. It developed into this. We do it live because it takes like 8 hours to edit it.
And also because we enjoy chatting with people.
We do.
Let's be honest. Tell the truth.
Well, for me, it's easy.
Yeah. Well,
live is always easy.
For me, it's people.
Problems.
Yeah.
Problems present the problem.
But there's always going to be something.
But it is easier to not have to edit and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, we're doing this live, so we're going to jump right into Keto Beyond the Couch. I do want to say if we kind of like sort of see the chat, but we really focus on the chat the last 15 minutes. So if you have something you want to talk about, hold off to the end, chat amongst yourselves. If there's something that we're talking about that you want to kind of chime in on and you want us to address, go ahead and use that super chat function down below. That will highlight our screen and let us know that you had something to say. And I just want to remind everybody that all heavy whipping cream has carbs. So just want to remind everybody that.
That's a tough thing to hear.
Okay,
on week
we're
2.
going to start off, before we do anything, it's Suzanne's birthday.
It's Suzanne's birthday.
It's also Shelly's birthday.
And it's Shelly's birthday. I don't know if the warden's in here, but definitely want to sing happy birthday to both of you beautiful ladies. And I think it's kind of cool that Shelly's birthday also like lands on a mandatory meaty Monday. We always eat meat on Monday. I mean, we eat meat every day, but we definitely eat meat on Monday to cheer Heath on in his MS journey. So I love when that kind of stuff lines up. So here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Suzanne and Shelly. Happy birthday to you and many more. So many more.
You ready?
Yes.
We're going to jump in with our Keto College Adjunct Professor Week. This was an inspirational post that I found over on Mighty Networks. I do want to remind you, we are all about community. If you are not involved in our community, please get involved in our community.
Yeah.
It is free. There is a link down below. You can go to members.twocrazyketos.com. You can sign up for free. There's a full free area. Now, if you choose to support us, we no longer do Patreon. We do everything through there. You can choose a $5, a $10, or a $25 level. And before we even get into it, I do want to apologize. So on Saturday, we did a monthly live stream for our channel supporters. We were having a problem with Crowdcast, so we didn't use Crowdcast last week, and I didn't have time to look into what was going on, that people couldn't hear us. So we streamed it directly into Mighty Networks. And what I did not know, and this also applied to people who were doing our course last Monday, I did not know that it automatically reposts that live stream. I thought it did, and it doesn't. It records it, but then I have to go and upload it into it. So I apologize that they are both available now. So last week's check-in for the beef, butter, bacon, egg course, and this past Saturday's weekly live or monthly live is in there now, but I'm sorry it wasn't available right away. I did not know that it didn't automatically post. It's all my fault, not Mighty Networks.
I will say that if you don't know, I'm going to tell you, we wouldn't hurt somebody's feelings or leave somebody out of something for $1 million cash.
Right.
So if there's something that goes wonky and we miss something because we're superly not perfect people, we will do our very level best to try to rectify this situation.
Yeah. You ready?
Yes.
We are going to jump in Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. This one is from Francine.
Hey, Francine.
She had this meme up. Working on being skinny is discouraging. Working on being healthy is empowering.
Oh my gracious, Francine. Thank you for posting that beautiful reminder so early in the year. Don't wait until February or September or Christmas in order to get down deep in your thinking, on your heart. We are not working to be skinny. Skinny is not the answer any more than like the answer to life is be rich, right? There are plenty of rich people that are not happy. Like that is not the goal, right?
It's about getting healthy.
I understand that you see people doing things at like a body type that you think, wow, I like where they're at. But that is literally just one snapshot of the story.
Right.
And I have like been at a lot of funerals of skinny people that they were skinny.
I was going to say,
but that's not the goal.
There is such a thing as a skinny fat person.
Yeah.
Where you can look skinny, you can even weigh not a lot on the scale, yet you're still fat on the inside. I know that doesn't make sense, but it's where you have lots of fat around your organs.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's hiding things and you don't know because you are skinny. Weight loss is a side effect of getting healthy.
That's right.
Focus on getting healthy, the weight loss will come. But I say this to people all the time. Let's say you want to lose 30 pounds. Maybe you've lost 25, 30 pounds. You want to lose another 30 pounds and you're stuck. But you're no longer on your diabetes medication. You've got like good, healthy blood pressure. You feel good. You're moving. Would you be okay with that? Would you be okay if you never lost another weight, but every health marker you have is improved other than that weight number?
Yeah.
And if you answer no, I'm going to encourage you to work on changing that answer to yes. Focus on getting healthy first. I'd rather you be 50 pounds overweight but healthy metabolically than be skinny and have diabetes or other health issues and things like that.
Yeah, we wish health for you. Yeah.
Mary said that she missed the live stream. I think because of what we did, we're going to try to have another one this month. I just don't know when. It's going to kind of be like, hey, we're going to go live in a couple of hours. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move into Subscriber of the Weeks. The first one is from Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Said, I wanted to share my story. I've been on keto since August of 2019. I started at 282 pounds. I'm currently 186.
Way to go.
Losing weight was just one of the many benefits I've received from keto. Some of them include I no longer have acid reflux. My skin tags are gone. I don't snore anymore. The persistent pain in my leg is gone. I can climb stairs in my building without getting out of breath.
Wow.
I'm much happier. I'm a better mom, wife, and teacher because I have more energy. This is exactly what we were just talking about.
Yes.
I want to thank everyone at Two Crazy Ketos for their support. Joe and Rachel, I get so much motivation and encouragement from your videos and podcasts. I can't thank you enough. I feel so grateful for this keto family. For anyone on the fence, jump in and don't look back. You got this.
Oh, Nicole, that is so good. Oh, that is like so victorious. And thank you. I'm sorry, like for tearing up, but there is so much victory in those photos and also in that post. And I really hope that if you have been on keto for any length of time, maybe this is week 2 for you, but if this is week, 200 for you, especially, sit down today and write down what has changed. Not just the scale, but what else? When she talks about how I can do my job better,
right.
I feel like I am enjoying my marriage more. I have more energy for things. I'm reversing health stuff. If we are only looking at the scale, it can get very discouraging. But when you look back and you see, okay, what happened in 2022? Did everything perfect happen in 2022? No, of course not. But there was gain. Right. There was victory in 2022. And if you want to move forward in victory, you got to notice the victory. That's how, you walk out and say, okay, this is the ground that I have, gotten so far, and I'm going to take new ground today with good health choices. But sometimes you need to remember the victory that you've already experienced.
Right. Chris said, no, Joe does it because he prefers not editing.
Yeah. Two different motivations.
It's true.
Resulting in the same thing happening.
Speaking of editing, I did want to ask a quick question. So
yes.
On New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, Rachel and I recorded a vlog. I have yet to edit that. So we're going to ask you guys, since you guys are all live in here now.
It's old now. Should we toss it?
Should I toss it out? There was some good stuff in there.
There's good stuff in here.
Should we toss it out, or are you guys okay with me editing it today? We'll put it out maybe later today or tomorrow. Yeah. But it's, at this point, 10-day-old what we ate for New Year's.
Do you care?
There's a part of me that, wants to release it, but then there's also a part of me that's it's old. So let us know down in the comment section.
Blue Dove, thank you for being a member for 14 months. Says Rachel, premenopausal, a week late. Is that normal? Well, sometimes, we're not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, but there can be a lot of factors that influence that. And I will say that sometimes my monthly gets impacted by when I go carnivore or not. So sometimes I don't know if you're doing more of a carnivore approach than you were last year, but I definitely see there's movement and change, both either making you get it or making you not get it. Right. But then, obviously, and then there's also, as we move into premenopausal, that it doesn't become as dependable as it used to be, right. That it's exactly, on track, but a lot of factors it could be.
I did want to show this. So last night we went out to dinner with John Paul Michelle and Peyton, and you should have seen the face of the lady when we were ordering. And I mean,
your appetizer for the night?
Well, we're ordering our broccoli, and she's getting that. And by the way, I don't know what's going on with my appetite, but it is way down. I was full before finishing a 12-ounce prime rib.
What's nice is that we have gotten to the point where we can trust it and move on with our life. Before it was I was so afraid of our appetite altogether. Oh my gosh, I'm really hungry today and I'm eating today. Is that bad? And then it was I don't feel hungry today. Is that bad? So I'm really thankful that the longer we do this and the more we stay in touch with our hunger hormones and satiety signals and not arguing with it, that we can know okay, that was a good meal, and then you walk away from it.
And we will talk about today's topic, but a little bit later on. Anyway, I wanted to show you our appetizer because I said to the lady, this came from Chris, because Chris is in here, and I was I want loaded cheese fries with no fries. And she's like, what?
What now?
And I'm like, I want loaded cheese fries with no fries. She's like, what are we putting in the slice in place of the fries? And I'm like, I want bacon. And she's like, well, that presents a problem because we charge by the number of pieces and there's 2 pieces to an order. I'm like, I don't care. So I'm like, give me 8 slices of bacon. And then I'm like, and then cover it with cheese and bacon bits.
I thought they did a really great job with it.
She did a great. Look at this.
I thought that came out beautiful.
There was so much cheese and bacon. So much bacon,
and then bacon bits on top of it, and then sour cream. And Michelle even said, like, that this was a magical appetizer. Like, this was really delicious.
It was good.
They did a good job.
Filling. There was plenty for everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what I paid for it, but I do know the bill for 4 of us, and 3 of us all got prime rib.
Big pieces of prime rib.
And the double broccoli loaded with bacon and sour cream and butter and all that stuff. And Michelle got a giant burger bowl. I don't even know what they called it.
It was called, like, it was some sort of version of roadkill.
That was what it was called. It was called the roadkill.
But they altered it based on, she wanted a certain cheese and stuff, and then they
no, because she wanted no bun, and they were like, just get a roadkill.
And the waitress was so helpful. Once she understood that, like, we didn't want bread and stuff, she just really tried to tailor it to best serve us. Yeah. I really appreciated that.
But the bill for everybody was only $110. And then we had a bunch of gift cards. So I thought, they couldn't have charged us that much for that. Yeah. I thought it was really good, but wow, was that good. Thank you very much, Chris.
Yes.
Let's move on. The next one we have is from Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
Alyssa said, I started the No Sugar Challenge on July 23rd of this year, and I moved into keto within a couple of weeks. The first picture is Christmas of 2020. I don't even think I bothered to take pictures in 2021. The second picture is from this Christmas, 5 months on keto, minus 40 pounds.
Oh, Alyssa, you look lovely. Wow, gosh, look how young. Look how young she looks. Talk about aging backwards. Oh my gracious. Well, congratulations on that. That is fantastic. And I love that her keto journey began differently than other people's journeys. So, like, for us, I think, we found out about keto because another person was doing keto. Right. I've met a lot of people who have found keto through paleo. I found other people who found keto through Atkins. And then to hear that there was, like, a just over umbrella of a no sugar challenge that could turn into keto. What a great, don't you love hearing about different ways that people learn about keto? I love that.
Maitreya wants to know, I'm scattered. How do we get notifications for this stuff? Is there something somewhere, or just vigilance and remembering a schedule? Usually we mention it ahead of time, and then we put out a post that it's coming.
Usually it's the first Saturday of the month.
Yeah, first Saturday of the month is generally when we do at least one.
Yeah.
Next one we have is from Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
My weight has always been a struggle, and that was hard to overcome. But a year ago, with the encouragement of some people very near and dear to me, you know who you are, I set out to change my life. I decided to totally change my eating habits. I've wanted to share this for some time, but I just didn't feel the time was right with me personally. Today, 2 days shy of a year, I can say I am down 73 pounds.
Wow.
I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm getting a little more comfortable in my new skin. So here is me at my daughter's graduation in May of 2021 and me today. I've also included pics of down 40 pounds to now. I'm still a work in progress, but I will see my goals.
Oh, Jenny, I
just put a couple of them up.
Oh, wow. Jenny, way to go. Way to go. What excites me is you were there for your daughter's graduation, and now as you move away from that, like, amazing season for her life, you're still there for your daughter for every day after that. A lot of times I think for us, I can remember when we were so unwell thinking, I just hope I live long enough to see all the kids graduate. Like, remember, I mean, we talked about that it was like, as Caleb was getting, closer to high school, I remember thinking, I wonder if we will live to see that.
Yeah.
And that was a really, like, scary thing.
Yeah.
And I feel so victorious that, praise God, not only did we live to see that, but we have lived to see all the days after that.
That's right.
So that is so awesome. And Jenny, thanks for saying that you're a work in progress. I am too.
Yeah.
Aren't we all? And I really love that you mentioned, thank you to the people who encouraged me. You don't know what it means, what like just encouraging someone can do. We think, like, well, who cares if I take the time when somebody is on my heart to call them up and say, like, I'm really cheering for you. I believe in you. I have hope that you have a good future in store for you. You think to yourself, oh, they probably don't want to get that phone call from me. They probably, if I take the time to write a card and send it to them, it won't matter. That's just a waste of time. It is not a waste of time.
Right.
You don't know the seed that you're planting in somebody's life when you take the time to just be an encouragement to them. Look what it's done for Jenny.
Yeah. I just saw this real quick. Heidi said, just watched your hot chocolate marshmallow review. His smile and blow.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
If you haven't seen that, go watch it. Yes, I snuck out a blowtorch and lit it here when we burned marshmallows. It was fun.
It was fun, baby, but we were in the studio in our house with a blowtorch that has a flame on it. So yeah, I was a little bit like, ooh.
Let's take a quick fade to black and come back to our comments.
It is the second week of January, and we are not giving up momentum this week. I do not care if every single other person on earth that is not watching this right now gives up on January 13th. That's supposed to be this year's Quitter's Day. We ain't quitting.
Yeah.
You ain't quitting. We are moving forward, and January 13th and every day after that is going to be a victorious day for you.
Yeah.
So don't give up.
Jennifer said, Lolly's granola going quickly, closing soon. Another small business bites the dust because of the
breaks your heart, doesn't it? Because
costs.
it is a delicious product. It is a really good product.
It's just...
But it's hard to have a business.
People talk about, well, keto products are expensive. Look at the cost of ingredients.
Yeah.
It's... None of these companies, well, I shouldn't say none of these companies. I think a lot of the big food companies, like when you have companies like Nabisco and stuff trying to break into it, I think for them, a lot of it is like, hey, we can charge more because of keto. But when you look at especially these small businesses, it's just the cost of ingredients. The ingredient cost is expensive. The rising cost of eggs is going to raise the price on everything. And here's a perfect example. I mean, I mentioned it on our subscriber live stream the other day. If you are making the egg white bread and you use powdered egg whites, I almost hate to say this, but I have plenty, so go ahead.
Okay.
I strongly encourage you to run out right now and buy as much of that egg white powder as you can possibly afford if you are using it a lot. Now, we don't use it that much because it can become an issue for us.
Right.
But the price of that egg white powder is going to double and triple.
It has to.
Because remember, it's all dependent on the cost of eggs. But what you're seeing right now is based on egg prices 3 and 6 months ago. As they have to make more egg white powder, the price is going to go up.
Right.
And even Chris on our live stream, and since he said it on our live stream, I can say it. He said, they're almost out at Keto Chow, and it is not going to be, like, worth
cost
it for
effective.
them to restock.
Yeah.
Because the cost of those egg whites are going up and up and up. I believe, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I believe we're going to see eggs somewhere around $9 a dozen for the cheapo eggs, probably within the next month or so, because they just keep having to slaughter chickens. Those egg prices are going to affect everything. That's why you see all the keto bakeries going out, because the cost of ingredients is going up.
When I went to the pet store to get some dog food for Tabitha, it's hard for me to check out for my dog with $100 and be like, okay, well, this is the investment I'm, putting into her grocery budget, right? This is her ribeye budget. And I'm going down the aisle and I was looking at toys, and you know how after Christmas, she doesn't care if she gets like a toy that's shaped like a stocking after Christmas, right? So I'm looking and I'm going down the aisles, and because I'm going down the aisles, I am seeing the cheaper dog food. So here I've got $100 in my buggy, and I'm walking down bags of dog food that are the same size, but they're $25.
Right.
And my heart was like, oh man, I got to pay $100 on my dog, and everybody else is only having to pay $20. So I took a moment to pick up that bag of cheap dog food and see like, okay, well, what is in it? Because I need a reminder of what I'm seeing. And boy, I looked at those ingredients. of that cheap dog food and got to the very bottom, and it was the very bottom after all of these fillers and all of this garbage, that it finally like may have 2% of a former animal in this bag of dog food. And I knew like Tabitha needs actual food for her.
That's right.
Right? But sometimes you have to remember it's cheap because of what is in it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be cheap with what I'm using to medicate my body with, right?
Yeah. Alan said, Nilly just posted a video that now dropped the price on the egg white powder. But yeah, again, remember, it's based on old prices.
Right.
There was a time where now was cheaper than, like, Keto Chow's egg white powder. But then, when they had to reorder and restock, their price was more expensive than Keto Chow. Because it all goes by when do they buy the egg white. And so their next restock is going to be higher. So, again, I'm not saying panic buy. I'm saying it's going to go up. So if you have the extra money and you use it a lot, I strongly encourage you to get it. I also saw someone, Jody said the only eggs available at Costco was a box of 5 dozen. Lots of folks complain they don't need that many. We grabbed 2 cases.
Right. Perspective.
But again, also just remember this. The eggs are good for a minimum of 30 days from the date that's on. Whatever the best by date is, they're good for another 30 days. And possibly longer.
Yeah.
So eggs are good for at least 60 days from the second they hit that carton. And every state puts a different date on there. Those dates, they're kind of subjective to the store. They can put whatever they want on it.
And again, we do not make decisions in fear. That is never a good motivation for a decision. But we do take the knowledge that we've gained. Like, okay, I look around and I see there's not as many eggs on the shelves. They're at a higher price and they're having to slaughter more chickens. So I take that knowledge and I apply that knowledge in wisdom to make some decisions based on what I want to eat in the next months, right? Like, right. I want to be a good steward of our finances. So we're going to make some decisions that are looking forward, not in fear. I don't need to surround my house, like encase myself where I can't go into my bedroom because I've purchased so many eggs, right?
Right.
I mean, we don't have to be stupid, but we just make decisions in wisdom.
A lot of people are saying we should make that video. So
awesome.
I will edit it.
Ready? Sorry about my hair.
Let's jump into this. Michelle says,
hi, Michelle.
And that is what keeps me on the edge of my seat for your videos every day.
Aww.
Not recipes, although some of yours are my go-to favorites. It is the constant encouragement and common sense keto talk that keeps me turning in.
Bless your heart, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Because we go back and forth. Like,
yeah.
What should we do? Should we change things up? Do people want something different?
Yeah.
Should we change our focus from community and just do a whole bunch of videos? But we appreciate those kind of things.
We really do. Thank you for that.
Next one is from Ursula.
Hey, Ursula. For what it's worth, I appreciate you not flooding us with sweet recipes. Thank you. I would watch them because I adore you guys and I have a huge sweet tooth, but as you say, it would not serve me well in this challenging already journey. Thank you for saying that. Because again, we are really it is our heart's desire to be a blessing. So am I authentically being a blessing? That's a question that we ask ourselves every single morning. What can we do to be a blessing and not be confusing and not be undermining and not be a keto police, but also hold accountable those that want to be held accountable. We want to be authentic. And share the fact that we're not perfect. Like, all of those things are kind of like you're juggling all those balls at once.
Right.
And you're also, when we make videos, we understand that the audience this is day one of someone's keto journey, and then somebody that's on the lion diet, right? Right? So, and everything in between. So we really thank you for your help and your encouragement.
Next one's from Lady.
Lady said,
purse bacon.
Yes.
I learned from Joe before I was afraid of cooking bacon. I'm like Rachel in the kitchen.
Good.
My bacon knowledge because of Joe has completely changed. I can now flavor my bacon. Who knew that was a thing? OMG, my sweet and spicy bacon is now a family favorite and my sister loves it. I actually feel confident now in this area. Thank you, Joe. It's little things that you have no idea on how you impact someone's mental health. From shy to confident and anxiety to trust in the process. Just from
Wow. Bacon. Wow. What a blessing. Lady,
thank you very much.
Wow. That's good. And again, you don't know what it's going to be. And I think a lot of times we say, like, I would like to be more confident. I would like to like myself more. I would like to cheer for myself. And we're looking down one road, like confidence only looks like this, and that the only way that I can gain confidence would be in this area. So who knew it was like the confidence would begin in just being able to cook bacon, right? Like sometimes just a little tip that moves you in the right direction. I know those like so easy, even Rachel can make it. It has made me change the way I talk to myself. Right. Because I do know, I can't say I can't ever cook anything. I've cooked all kinds of things now. Because if we slow it down and we make it doable, like we can gain confidence. So I'm so tickled that you feel good about that.
I just saw Joanna said Walmart eggs are higher than Ingles eggs, still paid just over $4 a dozen. And that is one thing, like the reason you see the cheapo eggs getting higher in price, but not necessarily the pasture-raised eggs, is because those chickens aren't as affected as the ones where they just have thousands and thousands of chickens in a warehouse that can't move around. So when you have the local farms, like my chickens in my backyard are not affected by the bird flu like the 10,000 chickens that may be at a local chicken farm.
Right.
So those get wiped out. My chickens are fine. So when you have companies like Vital Farms and stuff like that, they're buying their eggs from local farmers. So they're going up a little bit.
But not
because of supply and demand, but you're not seeing
what
it's not proportionate. Think. Whereas it used to be a $5 difference per dozen. Now it's $1 or maybe $2.
One of the things that have come out of this time of like, you know, frustration with the eggs, that is a positive thing. Because it's like, look for the good, look for the positive. And one of the things that like even within our family, Michelle and I were just talking about how because she is looking for eggs and because she is looking for things like, you know, goat milk, goat cheese, that sort of thing for some of the recipes that she's making, she has looked around in her local area to see where are their farmers markets. Where are their markets? And you're seeing more like people bring things like eggs and cheese and stuff to a farmer's market. And as a side effect of that, she's met some neighbors. She is going on like a date day with John Paul to these farmers markets. It makes it a really nice day. Peyton is outside in the stroller and they're getting some fresh air and sunlight. So is it frustrating to have to find eggs in a new location? Yes. But if you're willing to do the work for it, there's also some blessings that can come in that time of trying to make a new avenue.
Right. Next one's from Keto-ish.
Hey, Keto-ish. If people are having a hard time starting, rather than eliminating one food at a time, I'd say conquer one meal at a time. Everything you eat before lunch needs to be keto for 1 week. Second week, everything before dinner. Third week, you're fully keto.
Love that.
Wow. That is a fantastic perspective. Definitely. I mean, I think that you would have to track that a little bit more because of the fact that you just got to hold yourself accountable because it's hard, but I think that that's a really good like alternative you could do.
Next one's from Franny.
Hey, Franny.
I'm going to try parking in a different parking lot at work that makes me walk a bit further. I love that. That is people asking, how do I get more movement in?
Yeah.
That's how.
Everybody, like, because there's so many commercials telling you, like, the Mandalorian, this is the way. You have to join a gym. You want movement? This is the way. This is the only way. This is the Mandalorian way. You have to join a gym, $5 a month. There's going to be pizza and donuts there, but, like, this is what you have to do. That is not the only way to get movement in. There's other ways. And one of them is the way that Franny found.
Just double everything you're doing.
You literally just, increase your movement by changing your parking space.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
There's another one from Skindigo.
Hey, Skindigo.
I have to say, I'm not quite sure why Perfect Keto wants to train their customers to wait for sales. Why not just lower prices so people will shop all the time? Unless people are just paying full price and not waiting for sales. I don't get it. As a customer, it's a huge turnoff for me that I either have to wait for a sale or feel like I'm overpaying. Now, I put this in here for a reason.
Yeah.
Because I agree. However,
I love me some sales though.
At the same point, it's our nature to want a deal.
Yeah.
It's our nature to want a deal.
This is why I signed up for Joanne Fabrics text messaging.
I remember even recently when one of the craft stores eliminated their coupons.
Yes.
Right?
That was a sad day.
But they just lowered their price. They're like, okay, now everything's just on sale. Like, no more coupon deal. Sometimes coupons to me are a pain in the neck because they put all these stipulations. Joanne Fabrics, here's a 40% off coupon, but can't be used on anything that is on sale. But everything in your store is on sale.
But do you know I visit that store less since they got rid of the coupon?
Yeah. Right? So,
dramatically less. The coupon was getting me in there.
Right. And that's my point, is that sometimes we want a deal. A lot of people will come to us and go like, how come Keto Break doesn't have sales? They don't do a coupon. They just keep the price as low as possible.
Right.
You know, and so here's the thing, that when you see companies that, you know, if they do have a sale, somewhere they have to make up for it, especially when they do them a lot. And I know that people want a deal. Like, I was talking to John Paul. He just started his electrical business, and he was talking about, like, you know, if you look online, people are doing, like, here's $100 gift card. He was like, but I don't know what to do, because I can give somebody the same exact price that they're going to pay when they get that $100 gift card back. But people are like, well, so-and-so's having a sale. They're giving me $100 off, or
right.
They're giving me $100 gift card. And he's like, but my price works out to be the same. But in our mind,
we want a deal.
We're getting a deal. So we just have to look at it that way. And I think that that's why these companies do that. They just put they have to raise the price a little bit and then give you a coupon, because we're more apt to shop when we go, here's a coupon.
That was interesting, yeah, because we were talking about, like, how should he try to get new customers? And he was saying, okay, well, maybe I could say, hey, this service costs, you know, $200, and that is authentically how much that I charge for this service. And
or I can charge $300 and then give a $100 gift card back.
Right. You know what I mean?
And people will do it that way over just paying him $200.
Right. But you're trying to say, like, do people believe that you've just, like, raised the price to lower it? Or where am I authentically getting a deal?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you have to figure that kind of stuff out. Yeah, Teresa, JCPenney failed when they got rid of coupons. The CEO insulted coupon
You
shoppers.
are so right, Teresa.
Like, that's why I don't shop in Kohl's anymore.
I felt the same exact way. I totally felt like, as a lifelong JCPenney shopper up until that point, that, like, I stopped being heard as a customer. You are so exactly right.
Yeah.
That's it. And then I stopped shopping there.
Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with the rest of the comments.
Kohl's Cash. Can we talk about Kohl's Cash?
No, we don't have enough time.
Kohl's Cash. I
don't
cannot
shop Kohl's anymore because of Kohl's Cash.
I cannot do Kohl's anymore because Kohl's Cash. And the reason why is I either lose it, or
they put limits on it.
They put so many limits on it. Every single thing that I'm trying to purchase with the Kohl's Cash is on the limitation thing.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Let's overhaul the
Shauna,
coupon
buy
industry.
one, get one half off. Biggest Farce. Looking at you, Michael.
I'm looking at you, Michael.
We used to buy all of our sneakers from Skechers.
Yes.
And all of the Skechers things were
buy
one, get one half off.
Yes.
Now Skechers shoes, like, you go in there, it's like $125. I'm like, now you're at Nike prices.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
They're not that good. And that's why I've just shifted everything to Hoka. People are like, well, Hokas are expensive. So is everything else.
Everything
and at least my feet feel better at this point. Jerry said raising prices to lower them is what they do, like at Christmas. Yeah, like here's, like, you want to know the biggest scam? I mean,
television sets.
Television sets on Black Friday. Never buy television sets on Black Friday unless you really don't care. But generally, it's old technology, or it is they literally make versions of a lot of electronics just for Black Friday where they eliminate some features because then they can charge less and tell you you're getting a deal.
Right.
But it's generally either old models, or many times they literally have, like, models that are made just for Black Friday. Don't have as many HDMI out ports. They don't have certain features to them. And then they have another TV. It's $100 more. It's not on sale, but it's got all of these extra features.
Mary T is totally right. Let's face it, all marketing is a game to confuse and reach into our pockets. Absolutely. Right. And if we get into trouble as consumers when we forget it ain't personal. It's business.
Right.
And I used to think, I mean, I like Sears finally, I think, gave up the ghost over at the old Sears town and stuff. But it was like because my mother purchased her school clothes at that old Sears, it hurt my heart to see it go, right? Because I was like, this Sears is a part of my family. No, it's not. It is a business that my family shopped at. So it's the same thing. It's like when I got confused when I thought that Cheerios cared about my family.
Right.
It's business. It's business. So it's like I have to keep it separate. Got to keep it separated.
Let's get off this tangent.
Sorry. Caitlin, I think this question is a long shot, but I'm curious of opinions. My daughter will be 6 in May, and in May 2022, she was diagnosed with leg-calf-perthes disease of the right hip. Basically, at one point, she had a blood clot that caused a femoral head to die, and now her bone is fragmenting and deformed, and she has muscle contractures. We're doing extensive therapy now and bracing, but she still has a lot of pain, and I'm wondering if we made diet changes, if that would help the inflammation and pain. I know keto isn't recommended for kids, but I think if we did a whole family lifestyle change, it could benefit us all, but I'm definitely more concerned about her right now.
Okay.
Great question, Caitlin.
2 things. First, keto is fine for kids. Now, number one, Rachel already said, we're going to say it again. We're not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. I am a master coach, though.
Look at that boob.
Thank you. They're bigger than yours.
But that's also disappointing on my side. Yeah.
Man boobs. Anyway, keto is fine for kids. What is not recommended for children is necessarily being on a diet.
There you go.
But keto is not a diet. Keto is a way of eating. It is the proper human diet.
Yeah.
Can you give your kids who are eating a ketogenic type diet probably a little bit more in the form of carbs, like a little bit more in vegetables, a little bit more in certain kinds of fruits that aren't full of sugar? Like I would never recommend watermelon for kids. It's pure sugar. Yes.
But could they have more strawberries than you?
Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of people who have their kids eat a ketogenic or even carnivore lifestyle. You can look at Dr. Berry. You can look at Dr. Sivas. You can, I'm trying to think of like all the people.
You can look at Keto Savage.
Abby. You can look at Abby. You can look at, from House of Keto. You can look
They're all
at Crystal and Robert. There's
keto.
a lot of people publicly doing it. And then there's a lot of people who also don't do it publicly. Keto is just a type of eating. The number one thing is you want to really be able to help with inflammation and stuff, eliminate all of the sugar. The sugar's not mandatory. Why do we have to give our kids sugar? We don't. I tell people all the time.
There's no nutritional benefit.
If your kids are eating sugar, and when I say kids, anybody under the age of 16 that doesn't have a driver's license, if your kids are eating sugar and macaroni and cheese and everything else in your house,
you can't change it.
It's one person's fault, yours. And I know I just annoyed a lot of people. It is your fault and your fault alone because they don't have the ability to go buy it. If it's in the house, it's because of you. You're the parent. Tell them no. And I know that has nothing to do with this, but they don't need sugar, and there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. When you eliminate the sugar and you eliminate the seed oils and even stuff like gluten, which all can be inflammatory, you're going to help her. I can tell you as someone, I don't have this disease, but as someone who has several pins in my ankle and really bad arthritis and spent 25 years on arthritis medication and also on Oxycontin and Vicodin, eating this way eliminated the pain. Do I still walk with a limp sometimes? Yes. That's 30 years of walking with a limp. It became just a part of my living, and I don't have the flexibility, but I don't have the pain anymore.
Yeah.
I'm no longer on pain medication, and that is from the decrease in inflammation.
Well, and I'm thankful for your post, Caitlin, to share this and to make us all take a moment and think, am I feeding my children the best that I can? If I am feeding my children whole foods, if I am feeding them meat and vegetables and fruit that I can see it. I can see it as it is it's fresh picked. It is in a whole situation, right? I'm seeing the hamburger, I am seeing the chicken, I am seeing, the tomato, I am seeing the lettuce. Like, I see it as whole ingredients. I am never going to be embarrassed by that. Right. I am never going to look back and say, like, gosh, I probably did some damage there. But we as parents who have given our children things like yakisoba noodles and like Oreo cookies and all those, we do look back with regret in our parenting. Right. And I would love if we could save other parents the regret that we have felt. Now, moving forward, when we are interacting with our kids, we try our very best to help provide interactions with good food. We bought our children a good prime rib and good burgers last night, right? So we try to have that in the house. Same thing for Caleb and Anthony. We try to provide good protein and vegetable sources. Now, they're all adults.
I can't control what they do.
But what I'm buying
I don't buy the garbage.
What I'm buying for them, I don't have regrets about anymore.
Right. A couple things I saw real quick. Normal said, Joe and Rachel, have you ever noticed the Proposition 65 warning on your food products that says cancer and reproductive harm? To me, it's a farce. If you really want to know about it, I think he's gone because he usually has a meeting at this time. But Chris Berry, I think there's even a post about it on Keto Chow. It's a California thing. It comes down to like any minerals and lead and stuff like that could end up in the food, but pretty much like the amount is so minimal. It's pretty much on every single thing you buy. It's like why you can't get Berkeys in places. It's like literally anything that's sold in California pretty much has a Proposition 65 warning. And because they don't want to have multiple labels, it's just on everything you buy. But a lot of them will say, for California residents, here's the Proposition 65. Personally, I'd ignore it. That's just me, though. You can do what you want. Rita said, question, Rita. Can I make Keto Chow ice cream earlier in a day and freeze it before dinner time? I want to make some before I go to work. Just freeze and have it after my dinner. Just curious. Generally, with Keto Chow ice cream, if you make it, for example, either in an ice cream maker or in a creamy, and then you put it back in the freezer, it is going to refreeze like ice. So if you're making the creamy, you would have to respin it. Because it's mostly water. I'm thinking right now, why can't I think? I was just reading this great article. Oh, Carrie Brown was talking about it. How when you make regular ice cream, that is all like chemistry. There's certain ingredients in there that make it not get hard again. Keto Chow and the creamy is mechanically turning something into ice cream. It's got nothing to do with chemistry and egg yolks. It's literally just mechanically. That's why you can do it with anything. You can do it with frozen pineapples. So you would really have to rerun it through. If you're making an ice cream maker, there's really no way to get it to be ice cream again. Okay. Next one is from Zoe.
Hey, Zoe. Triple B&E question. Sorry if TMI. Has anyone had bathroom pyrotechnics in the first week? Wondering what to do. Absolutely. If you change anything in your eating, you will notice usually a change in your bathroom pyrotechnics, and I've noticed in my hair.
Yeah.
In my hair. You change things up, you change the way you're eating, and it's like you see a dump. Right. Both ways. Do not be alarmed. It will pass. You're just getting used to it.
Your body's adjusting.
It's a big change, though.
And the same thing if you're having some constipation issues. If you're eating mostly meat, increase fat, increase salt.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do. But it is, you're eating probably a healthier amount of fat. Your body's not used to it. Remember this, your gallbladder is what processes fat. If we're eating low fat, our gallbladder isn't working. Dr. Berry talks about this all the time. And what happens is our gallbladder is a muscle. When we stop eating fat, that muscle goes into atrophy, and then they end up pulling it out. Here's the thing. You can fix it. How do you fix an atrophied muscle? You start using it. So start increasing your fat. That muscle starts working again, and then it starts going away. So it's just an adjustment, but it does go away.
But a lot of times what happens is that, because I liken it also when you're using your gallbladder for the first time after a very low fat protocol, It's almost like if you're turning on the heat in your home for the first time in a year. And it's like you turn it on and you get that burnt hair smell and all of this stuff comes out. And you know that it's just burning off the first layer of nonsense, right? You don't turn off your heater and be like, I guess we'll just freeze to death because I'm too afraid to use it. We have to push past that in order to use it. So it's the same thing with our gallbladder. A lot of times what we do is we get like some pushback, like we have some bathroom pyrotechnics and we're like, okay, I got to go back
I'm not supposed to eat fat.
I'm not supposed to eat fat.
We need to work that muscle.
That's not going to help us. So go ahead and like push past that. And then there's, you won't feel that way forever.
Next one is from Sandy.
Hey, Sandy.
Hi, I'm new to this group and new to keto. I'm only on day 6, kind of wondering when you start noticing results. I'm interested in improving health issues as well as weight loss and wanting to have less brain fog and more energy. So far, I've cut out all sugar and starch and eating fatty meals and eggs and doing keto chop for lunch. Any tips for a newbie who is trying to not be overwhelmed, yet wondering how long it takes for changes? Keep doing what you're doing.
I want you to understand that you have already had results, Sandy. I'm so proud of you for taking this journey. But here's the thing. Before I started keto, I was eating inflammatory food. Day 1 of eating keto and eating the proper food for my species, that was the victory. That was the result. I was one day into eating what I'm supposed to eat for my species, and one day outside of eating what is wrong for me. So you are 6 days into eating what is proper for your species, and 6 days together. 6 days of intentionally being together in that. So that is awesome. There are so many people right now all over the world who do not have 6 straight days of eating what was meant for their species. So you are already having amazing results, and you can totally add that together and think to yourself, the more that I am eating what is right for me, the more results I'm gonna have. I'm gonna start noticing some real change because I'm eating what's correct for me.
Next one we have is from Joyce.
Hey, Joyce.
My morning numbers seem to be very high. I'm type 2. I work late till late at Walmart. Can you help explain the dawn phenomenon I read about now and then? Is late hours working the issue? I'm so glad to join this group. Thanks for having me. My goal, the best health.
So good.
So I did answer this on Facebook, but I think it's really important to talk about. The dawn phenomenon is completely normal. It is needed and everybody has it. We talked about it, I think, a little bit last week. But we want the dawn phenomenon. It is how our body gets itself going. It is how your body deals with running from a bear that is chasing you. When you need energy, it creates it. You will have a dawn phenomenon even if you are 72 hours fasted or longer. You will still have the dawn phenomenon. Your body can create glucose because it does need about a teaspoon of sugar or glucose in your blood. It will create it when it needs it, and it can create it from the protein you eat, from the fat you eat, and from your muscle. So not eating protein will not help. Your body will create it from your muscle or from fat. So it will do it, and you need it. When does it happen? Generally a couple hours after you get up. There's not a specific time. It's when your body deems it needs to get this glucose going. So if you wake up at 6 in the morning and lay in bed for 2 o'clock, a lot of times you won't experience that until you actually get up and get yourself moving. It's not like, hey, I wake up, here's the dawn phenomenon. It takes time and it's different for everybody. So it could be your body is just going, hey, at this time, I need some extra glucose, I need some energy. One way that you can help that is eating a lot more fat in the evening.
Yeah.
Suzanne, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Said hi from Quebec. Can we order your swag in Canada? I think we can.
Yeah.
I have to look.
Great question.
If not, I will look.
We'll
I
check.
Will look at it.
We'll check. Thank you for that.
Okay. Next one we have is from Val.
Hi, Val. 24 hours and no sugar. So proud of myself. Val, thank you for saying that. We have said that so many times over the last 5 years, right? That we have said, We want to celebrate whether you are at your goal weight, the disease has reversed in your life, or even if you have just had 24 straight hours without sugar. And I don't think we've ever had somebody that actually posted that win.
We say all the time, please share your story.
Thank you.
It's important. Like there's somebody out there going, oh my gosh, me too. It's
24
the first
hours.
Time, right?
And they didn't stop to celebrate it. That's a huge victory. That is absolutely. Every single day out of bondage to sugar is a good day. If you are day one of bondage, I think that it's more magnified, right? Because you're like aware of the fact that, wow, I went to my workplace. I did not stop at Dunkin' Donuts. I did not stop at the gas station. Like Nurse Cindy had that experience when she knew, boy, this keto is for real, was the day that she went in to get gas and came out of that gas station and only had a cup of coffee and did not have packaged sweets. Like, we need to celebrate this.
Next one is from Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
Listening to last night's Keto on the Couch today on replay. The intermittent fasting conversation hit hard. I have been keto for 5 years and I practice time-restricted eating since day one, only loosening the reins a couple times a year, and even then to do it with anxiety and guilt. I've known for a while, but I guess I just needed to hear it said out loud today. I no longer use intermittent fasting as a tool, but I have allowed it to become a disorder. Anyone here have any tips or tools to start opening your eating window? Any advice is greatly appreciated. So Rachel and I were talking about this last night.
Thank you, Andrew.
And this is why this is the title for today's Keto on the Couch. And I know that this is going to ruffle feathers.
But that's okay, because here's somebody who is asking for help. And this is a really good indicator that keto, it's not a moo-moo, it's not one size fits all, and we're all going to have a keto journey that's a little bit unique. And so we are going to have grace, and we are going to have, this is why we have this year is 2KK Fight Club, right? Because, and the number one thing in Fight Club is we talk about it.
That's right.
Because we need to talk about these issues.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is I do believe that intermittent fasting can be beneficial. I also do not think that we should practice intermittent fasting when we first start on keto. I also strongly believe that intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, OMAD, and extended fasting can be harmful to your journey and to your health. And here's why. Number one, it could become another form of an eating disorder. We are also guilty of doing things like, I ate too much food, so I need to now fast for 24 hours. That is no different than typical bulimia of binging and purging. I eat and then I throw up. I eat and now I punish myself for 24, 48, or 72 hours. When we begin doing intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating, which doesn't even have to be done just on keto, people do it even off of keto. This has been around for a while. What ends up happening is we begin eating to our watch instead of eating to our hormones. We lose track of our satiety. We lose track of, are we actually hungry? And we start screwing ourselves up.
Right.
Then to top it off, when we eat, especially when you do OMAD, we end up under eating because it's very difficult to get all of the nutrition that you need in one single meal. It is very difficult. You're talking about, on average, we should be eating 1,800 to 2,500 in calories and that's just fat and protein. It's almost impossible to get that in one meal. It really is impossible. I'd love to see somebody that can eat that much fat and protein in one sitting. So when we do that, now we end up slowing our metabolism down. So if the most you can eat is a 16-ounce prime rib in a sitting and you're doing an OMAD, well, you only ate 1,100 calories for the whole day. That's not enough food.
Yeah.
And now you slow down your metabolism and you create this spiral. Is intermittent fasting good? It can be, but we need to use it as a tool. So how do I believe you should eat? You eat to your hormones, not to a watch. for me, beef, butter, bacon, egg was freeing because of that, because we were
learned
given permission.
What is that hormone
to
saying
eat our hormone.
to me?
Now, to answer Andrew's question, there's two ways to do it. I think probably the easier way to say it, but probably the more difficult thing to do is just stop intermittent fasting. But we are dealing with a mental issue at this point. We're dealing with an eating disorder. So Rachel and I were talking, and that would be just extend your eating window every day or every week by 15 minutes, half hour,
my
or
suggestion,
an hour.
what I would do is begin small, because it's overwhelming. Like, once you've gotten yourself in this place of I'm afraid to move, the only thing that I know is to go harder. The only thing I know is to go stricter.
Use intermittent fasting as a tool, not a rule.
That's good. That my thing is to get out of these weeds. You may want to consider expanding your eating window by 15 minutes this entire week. So if you're somebody that's I do not eat until 4 p.m., that's where I'm at, then consider beginning your eating window at 3:45 p.m. And let's start there and be a week there. And then next week we'll move it to 3:30 p.m. You see what I'm saying? Just 15 minutes, not try to be okay, we'll stop doing it, because I think that that's very challenging. And I'm already seeing in the chat a mixture of conversation, which reflects the keto community. Some people are OMAD is completely perfect for me. Intermittent fasting is working well. There are tools in Joe's garage that are perfectly good tools. He's got nail guns, and he's got screwdrivers that are electric, and they are absolutely good tools. There's nothing wrong with those tools in the garage, but in the wrong hands, they are not helpful. In Joe's hands, they build a building. In Peyton's hands right now, they destroy a life.
Right.
They hurt somebody. So just remember, as you find a tool that works for you, that is fantastic. That is awesome. But the same pool that may be a place of recreation for you is a drowning place for somebody else. So we're just going to have grace for everybody.
And I'm not saying intermittent fasting is bad. We practice it, but you should practice it naturally. When your body says, I don't want to eat, you don't eat. When your body goes, I'm hungry, eat. Don't look at your watch and say, oh, I'm not allowed to eat yet. That's where we start screwing ourselves up. We did it for years, and we screwed ourselves up. And I think a lot of people do. You can say, and again, we practice intermittent fasting, but we do it based on our body. We've had times where we go, if I wake up in the morning and I'm hungry, I eat breakfast. Sometimes Rachel does, sometimes she doesn't. We may go 2 days because I'm just not hungry. I didn't think about food, I'm fine. Then the next day, we may eat 5 meals in the day.
Right.
You eat when you're hungry. Don't eat to your watch. And again, this is just about learning to deal with our hormones.
And this is a 5-year journey.
But it can cause problems.
And it's taken me 5 years to really be in touch with that.
We're planning on making an entire video about this because it is very important to us.
Very important.
And again, it's not that it's bad, but it can be harmful if we're not paying attention. Anything we do can, if you start going, I need to eat this and I can't have anything deviating, then we get into orthorexia. It's another issue. We have to open ourselves up and begin to listen to our body. Next one is from Gail.
Hi, Gail. I'm curious. I'm a bit confused about fat adaptation. If I am mostly carnivore with total carbs generally below 10, how long does it take to get fat adapted? I read it can take several months, but if I'm ingesting super few carbs, why does it take that long?
Great question. So there's a difference between getting into ketosis, which is where your body actually is utilizing carbs. So you have ketosis, and then you also have, which is ketosis, the definition of ketosis, by the way, is just using ketones for fuel. It's not creating ketones for fuel. There's a difference. But that getting into the point where your body begins creating ketones can happen within a week. Fat adapted is where your body just prefers using fat. It can switch back and forth. That takes a little while.
Yeah.
It is easier for your body to begin using carbohydrates as fuel over fat a lot faster. So if you are somebody like us and you are fat adapted, you've been doing keto for 4, 5, 6 years, and you go have some carbohydrates, it'll take a few hours for your body to go like, oh, I can use those carbohydrates. Yeah. Whereas fat, if you're doing it, it could take a few days because it's easier to use carbohydrates as a fuel, and also your body can't store as many carbohydrates as it can fat. So it just becomes easier. It just takes a little bit longer. But the less carbohydrates and the more you put a demand on your body to use fat, the quicker it can happen. It's another reason why we need to eat fat. Eating a very low-fat diet when you're not eating carbohydrates is not advisable.
You can imagine it's confusing to your body.
Your body isn't being given fat. Yeah, it needs that fuel.
Yeah, it's very confusing. You can imagine if you're like, okay, I'm going to stop giving you unleaded, but I'm also not going to give you diesel. Good luck, car.
Right.
Right? It's like, I'm not moving. There's nothing what can I use?
Your body is more efficient for fat. It just takes more time.
Yeah.
Next one's from Angie.
Hey, Angie, has anyone heard or used glycerin as a sweetener? I saw a ketogenic woman mention it from Dr. Berry, and I see a Dr. Berry video explaining why we need glycerin.
Okay, this is a good question.
Here's glycerin.
There's vegetable glycerin. You don't want to use this stuff, okay? Does your body need glycerin? Yes, your body makes glycerin. It makes it from protein. You don't need to consume glycerin. I'm going to take that off so that people can see this. This is vegetable glycerin. Vegetable glycerin is considered a sugar alcohol. You can also use it. We have it for you can make your own soaps and shampoos and things like that. They also use it in e-cigarettes. It's not that it's bad, but just because it's not bad doesn't mean it's good.
Right.
In tiny amounts, I'm okay with it in a keto product. If it's at the top of the ingredient list, I would avoid it for a couple reasons. Number one, like I said, it is a sugar alcohol, but one of the things that vegetable glycerin does is, number one, vegetable glycerin will increase your glucose, which we're trying to not have glucose increases. So vegetable glycerin will increase your glucose, but more importantly, vegetable glycerin will cause water retention.
Ooh, that's not that's not a fan favorite.
So if you consume vegetable glycerin, and in the keto products, it's used as a preservative and also as a sweetener. You can put a little bit into your ice cream, and that will actually help your ice cream from freezing up. In that kind of instance, I'm okay with it. But using it a lot, it's going to increase your glucose. It's going to cause water retention. It's going to cause you to get puffy. And if you're having a water retention and then you're consuming a lot of water, you can actually harm your body because now you're actually having too much water.
Right.
So, yeah, Hascat said, living in Florida, you should avoid glycerin in your hair products.
Oh, that's good to know.
So, yeah. So, I personally, if it's on the very bottom of the ingredient, I would...
People are saying, I thought they meant glycine, not glycerin.
No, they were actually talking about vegetable. I thought I could have sworn the one said vegetable glycerin. There were a lot of people talking about it. But you're seeing vegetable glycerin in a lot more keto products. Mm-hmm. You are seeing it in a lot more keto products. Maybe I read it wrong now. But it's a good thing I brought that up because it is important because you're seeing it in more keto products. Next one is from Marnie.
Hey, Marnie, carry this with you into 2023. Do the things you love more often. Yes, let go of people or situations that drain you. Sometimes you need to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. Wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. If you change your mindset, you will change your life. Absolutely, Marnie. If you follow those tips, those things may be the key to keep you keto. If you're like, I want to be keto, I want to eat this way, and I want to continue making daily choices, the answer may not be in your food, in the bacon itself. It's in those other things. What is making it harder for you to eat bacon instead of a cookie? It could be some other stress in your life. It could be not forgiving yourself. It could be all of those things that she's sort of drawing our attention to bring into 2023. And I think that if you evaluate that, like, hey, I really want to think about my mindset, think about my perspective. Like, I need to do some things in order for me to make the choices I want to make instead of just like, I need to be better at making good choices. Well, is your life conducive to making good choices? Or do you need to change some exterior things in order for you to make good choices? I mean, we talked about that when we did our challenge to get better sleep. We wanted to get better sleep. Go to bed, Joe. Like, that was how we handled it. You need to get more sleep.
Right.
But how we actually made progress in that area, we changed our bedroom, we changed the lighting, we changed our bedtime, we started wearing the glasses. Like, those things helped us actually get sleep.
Just realized we are way behind.
Oh, sorry.
Let's hit a few comments.
Okay.
Mary said, Joe, thanks for the Hoka tip. Hurt my foot walking in Keto Palooza.
No.
I had a 2-week Arizona trip to get through after. Bought some Hoka runners and pain gone.
Wow.
Walked miles in Arizona.
They're awesome.
We're going to thank
Sarah G.
Sarah G for that. That's
Sarah
who
G turned us on to Hoka. And I did want to mention Mary T recently shared her story because she was interviewed by Diet Doctor. Mm-hmm. And she has shared in the Facebook family group, and I believe in Mighty Networks as well, her story. Her journey to keto is amazing, and her results and her resolve are amazing. So you definitely want to reach out to Mary T if you haven't already. If you've got questions, she's a fantastic resource within our group. Yeah. Just an amazing woman.
Lynette.
Hey, Lynette.
I have a severely disabled son who's almost 17 years old with epilepsy. Went high-fat keto a few years ago, lost weight, and is happier than ever.
That is fantastic. Thank you for sharing that.
Becca said, I was reading an article about the rising amount of obesity in children. The doctors recommended surgery for children over 13. Nobody in the article talked about diet.
Yeah.
And again, I remember, it wasn't this past year, it was the year before when we were at what is now the Hard to Kill Summit, but it was the Omaha Summit. And I think it was Dr. Seaman Fabulous that was talking about the ridiculous increase in childhood obedience.
180% increase
in childhood
during
diabetes
2020.
During COVID. Why? Because the kids were all at home, eating sugary snacks, not going outside, not burning energy, just eating garbage. And she flat out said,
It's your fault.
It's your fault as a parent.
Because they're not even going to school and getting school lunch.
Right.
Like, everything they're eating, every morsel that they are ingesting, it's not on a play date, it's at your house.
It is our job as parents and grandparents to change our children's eating lifestyles. When they say, I want macaroni and cheese, and it's a little kid, the answer is no.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's all hard.
I know it's easier said than done, but our job is to take care of our children, not give in to their demands.
I'll never forget talking to the kids. I was getting after Anthony and Caleb about doing their homework. And I looked at them and I said, don't you think that it would be so much easier for me to just let you do whatever you want? I've already finished high school and college. I've already gotten my degree, but I know that I need to have this tough discussion and make you do what is right because it is for your benefit. I had to have the fight every single night that you got to do your homework. You got to work on your school project. I don't care if you don't want to get up in the morning. We are going to school, right? All of that. I'm willing to have the fight. I don't anticipate that I'm going to have any less of a fight making them eat the proper food than I had saying we got to go to bed or you got to take a shower. I don't care that you don't want to. I got to make you do this. Why? Because you're not allowed to stink. You have to go to school. You need a learning, right? It's all fighting in parents. And I know that it's exhausting. It is exhausting to have these fights, but eating the right food is going to benefit them just like we fought them you're taking a nap.
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't want to.
For that glycerin glycine thing, I can just tell you that all of the comments in that post were about vegetable glycerin being used as a sweetener, and that's why we put that up there. Transcender said,
Hi.
This is a needed conversation for me. Intermittent fasting, and no, I'm not eating enough. Going to stop this. My mind says don't eat because it causes insulin to spit out and inhibits fat loss.
Yeah.
And again, we're not saying it's bad. We do need insulin. You don't want to snack. There's a difference between eating until you're full 2 or 3 meals a day and then eating to a watch going, my watch says I can't eat yet.
Right.
There's a huge difference.
A lot of times like, just like you're saying, the goal is every single day to get, and it could be different every day. It certainly is for us. 1 to 3 meals a day. That's what we're trying for. 1 to 3 meals. We're trying to get untangled from the way we used to eat, which was sometimes 10 times a day, 15 times a day. If every single time something passes through your lips, beverage included, is if we count that as a meal, every single time something passes through our lips, some of us are eating 28 times a day.
Right.
So what the goal is to say, I want to not have that many interactions with stuff. So I can drink water as much as I want every single day, right? Like, just have at it.
Mm-hmm.
But
or even black coffee.
But as far as like sitting down and having a meal, I want to honor that. And I'm not going to do a drive-by in the kitchen and like grab something and run. I'm going to sit down and honor my meal times. And that may be 1, 2, or 3 times a day. What happens is sometimes we're like, I can't make that happen. I cannot work towards like moving, like not having so many interactions with food each day. And so I'm just going to cut off all interactions with food each day. Like, that is our response. Let's try to see if we can move towards having 10 meals a day to 5 meals a day to 3 meals a day, instead of saying like, I can't be trusted with food, therefore I am cutting off relationship with food.
Right.
Right?
A couple more real quick before we get off. Jody said, as a recovering bulimic, I purposely stayed away from intermittent fasting, but found as I've eaten keto, I've naturally moved to an 8-hour eating window because I'm not hungry until 11-ish. Listening to my body was freeing. And that's all we're asking you to do.
Exactly.
We're not against intermittent fasting. We are for listening to our body, and we are against eating to a watch. If you intermittent fast and one day you eat breakfast and one day you don't, that's the natural thing. But going, I am not allowed to eat until this, it can be harmful to our body.
And I know we're turning it on its ear, right? Because what we do to try to figure out like, when should I eat, and we're trying to like listen, a lot of people are like, I am going to not eat until I figure out when I'm hungry. And our suggestion is eat until you figure out when you're authentically hungry.
Right.
Right? It's just kind of a different way of approaching it.
Yeah. Serena said, thank you so much. I was hiding because I felt like I was failing at keto. Thank you for reminding me that I'm not a failure because I can't do 24 intermittent
Absolutely.
fasting.
You are not a failure. There is no failure in this group. And I don't care if you are on keto 14.0. You are not a failure. And if you need to stop for a moment and say that, we can say that together. I am not a failure. You are not a failure. That is a lie. That is a wrong believing. That is not the truth of who you are. You are not a failure. Are you working to achieve your goals every single day? Are you trying to move forward to accomplish things that you've never accomplished before? Yes, of course. We're all doing that. But if you failed in the past, that does not make you a failure. That is not who you are. That is just an event, right? Like, you are not a failure, though.
Here's a great one to end with. Boink said, sugar is very addictive. However, you can beat sugar.
Yes.
Use the community to beat it.
That's so true. That is absolutely true. I love it so much.
It's a great place for us to end.
Now, we are going to be having a community event at the end of this week. If you live near or are within traveling distance of Orlando, Florida, we are going to be on January 13th and 14th. That's Friday and Saturday. We are going to be meeting at Bodacious Barbecue in Orlando at 6:30 p.m. We would love if you would join us. Now, of course, we're going to rent the facility. You got to buy your own meat, all right? But there's lots of great meat to choose from. We'd love to know if you're actually going to be there, though, just so we can expect you.
Yeah, because they actually called us the other day, like, how many people do we have?
And I'm like, I want to be sure. And of course, we love drop-ins, but we would love to know if you're going to be there so we can prepare for you and have like a bag for you. Yeah. I'd love to pack a little goodie bag for you. So it is, send an email to mightymeetup2023@gmail.com because we would love to get to share this weekend with you.
And we will be in Orlando on Thursday, so we're going to be doing our live stream, hopefully.
In the hotel.
From our hotel. Hopefully we have good internet. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week.
We love you.
Bye.